I'm Greg Blatchly. I'm with Datamars. I'm a technical specialist and I've been with the company 36 years. The system's a fully automated walkover weigh system that allows us to capture, as I say, the EID numbers of the animals, the electronic identification, the RFID, and certainly the weight of those animals, totally autonomously. I find that the importance of using a unit like a walkover weigh system is to give us visibility of what's happening within the herd. It allows us to do a stock take. It allows us to know what animals are in a paddock. We know the performance of those animals. We can make decisions around that data. If those animals need to be, as I say, moved on or supplementary fed, it certainly takes out that labour cost where if you're mustering animals and putting them through a normal yard system, those animals are constantly losing weight and being held off water, held off feed. So the cost that's involved with that is very high, especially on today's market prices, where animals are worth a lot of money, and having these animals predominantly present themselves to do that job in a paddock where we're not knocking the animal around at all, it's just doing it at its own pace, certainly has great advantages and very, very high cost advantages. And we're getting that data sent to the cloud each night and presenting to us next day. This unit, this is a Flexi mobile, for the want of a word, that of course mobile mobility gives us, the wheel kit gives us mobility. The unit is very simple to set up and takes no time at all, especially when we're using a electric fence wire, single tape, which is of course powered up. The unit has wheels and a drawbar, so we can actually tow the unit, or remote walkover weigh system, with a vehicle. That could easily be as simple as a side-by-side type vehicle. So it's very quick to install. It's a single tape, as you can see, and simply attached to the sides of the unit. The unit has what we call bat wings, and that Faraday cage on the side, which allows me to at least get the tapes away from close to the animal walking through the system, so the animal acclimates to the system very, very quickly. Usually within a matter of a few hours, we've got totally naive animals going over the platform. We fill the platform with dirt, we simply shovel that on, it automatically zeroes it out with the scales, and that allows us for the animal to acclimate to it with the smell and the sound of the unit not being tinny and hollow. This unit I moved here last week. I did it myself. I've run the tapes, so from the time that I probably dropped the unit onto the ground to the time I run the tapes out would take me no longer than 20 minutes. Everything that sits there can be travelled with the unit when it's moved. I suppose, I'd go and flick the switch if I was moving it a long distance on farm. I'd probably turn it off, but you really don't even need to do that if you're only moving it short distances. The solar is mounted, as you'll see, is on a strut, so that just allows us to lock the solar in when we're moving the unit. When we come to deploying it, we simply just hit the lever, that spring catch, and the solar panel finds its way up automatically. It's all, as you'll see, there's no cables. All the cables are hidden. They're all behind in protection, cable protectors, back over to a control box where our main control is, and battery systems. And so they're all out of the way. We've got no cables to be damaged by an animal. As I previously mentioned before, that we send the data that we've collected throughout the day to the cloud at night, to the Datamars Livestock cloud program. That is done in two forms. We have a 4G network system, so this one happens to be a 4G. In areas where we haven't got 4G service, we can use satellite. and that achieves the same goal, but of course with satellite we're not restricted of where we place the unit to send that data. Within here is the control box, so this allows us here to, this is where all our cables end up, where our control is on the unit, and you'll see what's where our batteries are stored, and all our cables are plugged in accordingly. So EIDs, load bars, solar, and the power cable to run the unit. The unit being, of course, a remote system, needs to be powered on its own. The system that's provided with the unit, of course, is up there on that mounting frame. There is two 180 watt crystalline solar panels. That allows us to be totally standalone and power the system up. There's some uniqueness within the system that with the actual platform itself. The platform, underneath the platform, there's two what we call MP600 load bars. They're Tru-Test MP600 load bars. They're 600 millimeters long, they're 2,000 kilo in capacity. They are mounted up underneath this platform. There's a couple of things that come up in conversation when I'm talking to end user, to customer, and a couple of those things. One of those things in particular is multiple animals on the platform at once. Yes, we can see within the algorithms of the software that we have, 2 feet, 4 feet, maybe 6 feet on the platform. So we can actually, as I say, deal with that in a data sense. But normally the animal, when it has its pecking order, it decides on when it wants to go to water. And by setting the unit up and making it simple and open, and that's why the unit itself is quite open in its top, that the animal doesn't feel restricted to walk through it. These animals that have here in this paddock are totally naive animals to walk over weighing. They've never seen a unit before in their lives, and within sort of 6 hours we had the majority of those animals over the platform and watering. What I'll do now is I'll prepare the remote wow system for it to be removed and moved to another site, and everything's quite easy to do. Okay, now I've just relocated the remote wow unit to a water point where I want to place it. I've got it off the vehicle, as you can see. It's simply just a matter of lowering the wheel kit, setting it back down onto the ground, etc, etc. So what I'll do, I've got it up, I'll remove the pins which lock the wheel kits in. Can now reverse my winch and just lower it down onto the ground. So down it's coming. It's pretty simple. I just sort of guide it down, let it come down. I then just remove the hook on the winch. Winding that winch back up. I just put the pins back in to the brackets for safekeeping. It's now just a matter of removing the drawbar. We can just take the drawbar away, and we'll flick up the solar panel. Put on the protection for the ram, for the strut, just so animals don't rub against it, and pin it. It doesn't move. The next step really now is to just put up my single tape around this water point. So I'm just going to take a few tread-in posts, put them around in a circle around this water point, probably no bigger than about 10 meters in diameter, or 5 meters across from each end of the trough, and run a single tape. Connect my energizer, turn it on of course, and it'll be ready to accept animals.